Hello, it's Dave's Life Over 65. Well, you saw me messing around with jute twine and making jute twine bird's nests, and I got it to work once out of 5 tries, and I could never duplicate it. It was the very first try, and I got an ember. I lit up a piece of fat wood with a lighter, and then blew it out, and so there was just an ember, and then I put the ember inside the bird's nest made out of jute twine. Okay, and blew on it and kept blowing on, and eventually it burst into flame. However, I was unable to duplicate that process, so I have concluded that it doesn't work very well that way. So then I go to plan B. Plan B is I took the same, I made a big jute bundle, which I decided that I wasn't going to use, and I took a tea candle, heated it up until it was melted, and then I took this and gradually dipped it in the wax. Okay, so what is nice about this is it's pretty much oblivious to wind, and I'm hoping rain. Don't mind me, I'm just cleaning my ferro rod off because it corrodes fairly quickly. I was using this yesterday and already it's corroded. Okay, now, so this is wax soaked jute twine. What I did is I took the jute twine I just showed you. It's basically 4 little cords twisted around, hence the twine. And I separated those, and I discovered that it breaks into little pieces of jute that's about that long. And I rolled it up into a ball, and then broke it apart again and made a nest out of it. And then I twisted the nest by simply, the other way, by simply turning one end towards me and one end away from me, and then dipped it in wax. And I'll show you why that works so well. Now you can start it either by holding the ferrocerium rod on top of it, like so. In the picture, yeah. Except you can't see what I'm doing. Let there be light. All right. Move it over here. Maybe you'll see it better. Yeah. The idea is to get the sparks to fall on the, like that. Oh, I didn't get out of the way, because what you have to do, as soon as it flames up, you gotta lift it up by putting your ferro rod on it so it stands up. So maybe I'll do it this way. Okay. Okay, I'm having trouble getting it going facing that direction. Let's do it this way. Flip it over here. I found out just by accident too, you don't have to be that accurate. You can actually, as long as the spark falls right on it. I need something else. Just wore all the wax off that. No, it's wet. I can feel it. Okay, let's rough it up a bit. There we go. See if that makes a difference. There we go. That's all it took. Anyways, look how well that burns. And if you hold it straight up, it acts like a candle. See how hard it is to put out? It took me 3 tries. It's all the ferrocerium that I scraped into it. Now the ideal thing to do is to put this into a tube and pull the tube over it so only the very tip burns. I'm going to have to buy myself a new ferro rod. This one is getting rather worn out. There we go. Should be able to get it going in one strike here in just a second. If it doesn't start, then what you want to do is take a knife. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. Rough it up just a little bit. Rough it up just a little bit and then take your ferrocerium rod, put it right on top, crunch down. One of the ways to control the burn is like that, with your knife. It's also a good way to put it out. Now this would start your tinder really well. Burns pretty hot. And as you can see, there's not an awful lot of smoke coming off this here. Until I blow it out. As soon as the embers die and the candle smoke stops, same kind of thing you get off the wick of a candle. And of course, if you don't have any dry tinder and you don't feel like messing around with a ferrocerium rod, I just wanted to show you that you can do it. To do with my lighter. Anyways, you see I did start it up fairly easy with the ferrocerium rod. There we go. That easy. And if you want, you can take a pair of scissors or a sharp knife. Just remember to rough it up just a little bit if you're using a ferrocellum rod. If you're not, don't worry about it. Just hold your match or your lighter to it and it goes. And then you can slip that underneath your tinder bundle, or your tinder bundle. And if you cut your kindling small enough, you can even stick it under that and it'll get it going. Close up my sharp knives. I would have thought that for sure would have started. There it is. Now, if your aim is good enough, you can freehand it. My aim has never been good enough to do that, so I usually do the Joe Robineau method and hold it right down there on the end of it. And the best. In fact, it's not good at all. This is, though. The first strike. It's good to shake it around so that. See how hard that is to put out? Just what you need on a windy, wet day. I don't quit clowning around, I'll have to make another one. I intend to do that anyways. All right, so let's again recap how I made this. I took the all right. Sometimes you have to play with it to find the. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, but there are 4 separate strands. There's 1. There's 2. So first I do it in 2s, and very slowly and very carefully pull it. Oops, sorry. You very slowly pull it, slowly so that it has a chance to unwind. Otherwise, it'll tie itself in a knot. Okay, there's 2 strands, and just take it and do that so that it unwinds because it likes to wind up. Now, here's the other 2, see? So you do the same thing, although it tends to come apart because these are not very long sections. Anyways, you pull it apart like this. Okay. This out of the way. Tends to stick. If I remember correctly, I did this twice. So I took 2 1-foot sections, separated it into what was going to be my bird's nest. Okay, there's 1. See how it likes to curl itself up? Because it's twisted. I think it's done with a machine, so it gets really twisted. So I untwist it and then I pull it apart. This one's coming apart nicely. Well, it was. Okay. See how it likes to join itself together with the original one? So once you got that done, you make a nice little bundle, like you were going to make a tinder bundle, and recombine it yourself. Okay, I like to do it a couple of times to help break it down. Okay. Okay, while you're doing this, you can let your candle wax melt so that it's liquid. And when you're finished, you just take it, grab it in the middle, like this, twist one this way and one towards you, one this way and one this way. So I'm twisting this way and this way. Okay, move back, this way and this way. Move back, this way and this way. Okay, and so on. Okay, and you end up with a cord which is a single strand cord, pretty strong actually, and you want to leave it fluffy like this. You don't want to make it too tight like the middle piece here, because it won't soak up the wax, and even if it does, jute powder. All right, so what you would then do is take your, I do with my lighter, I don't know, maybe I put it away, surprise, surprise. Okay, finish with those. Pulls all my sharp edges up. With my lighter. Anyways, you can take a candle you can buy in the dollar store for say $2. You can light a tea candle or two. Get some kind of a stand to go around it, and then put the pot with the candle wax in it and gently heat it up with that for 15 minutes or so. Generally, it doesn't get hot enough to start smoking, but if it does, then you can remove the pot because you don't want it to flash. Anyways, once you have it properly melted, you can take your jute cord you just made or remade, this isn't going to work. There was a lock on there. I don't know what I did with it. Anyways, trust me, you melt the wax and then you take your jute twine and you just dip it in there. Just for a second, pull it out. Okay, so you dip it in there. Let's say that was melted wax. You dip it in. Just for a second. And then you take it and you bend it over. Let it cool for a little while, because right now it's quite hot. But once it cools down, oh, there it is. What's it doing over there? You gotta be careful when you're doing it this way. See it start to smoke? All right, so it stays liquid for quite a while. So this is still quite liquidy, so what I'm going to do is just grab the end of it and twist. Okay. What that does is squeeze the liquid candle wax on the inside down, and then you bend it over like this. Do the next piece. twist it tight. In a vertical position, can't see it, in a vertical position, only this way. See? Hold it for a little bit, and it'll dry. Still quite malleable. And you just keep doing that until you've coated your whole jute, your new jute twine. And when you're done, you'll have something that looks like this. What I did with this one is I made 4 separate cords, put them together, and dipped it in wax. And you can, that's simple enough to do. You just take your jute twine, measure out about 3 or 4 feet, whatever you want. It doesn't have to be precise. Okay, cut it in half. Here, you don't need to see that anymore. Okay, cut it. Bring it to half. Okay. You can twist it if you want. I don't bother. And you find the halfway point again. Okay. Now we have 4 separate pieces. Again, grasp it there, twist this way, and hold it. Move back 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 and hold it. Twist it as tight as you can. The idea is you want it to stay twisted together. It's just another way of doing this. Okay. And you keep going till you get to the end. And when you get to the end, hopefully it'll stay together more or less. Okay. So just keep doing that. Incidentally, this is a good way to make a thicker piece of twine if you need it. Although I wouldn't care to do that so much with jute twine. So I don't, well, actually it is pretty strong. I don't know how much weight that would support, but in a pinch, you could make rope this way. We have a new 4-strand cord. It's not sticking together as much as I'd like. Okay, so there you have it. So you take this piece, you twist it again and hold it, and then you dip that in your wax, and then you flip it around, dip that in wax, let it dry, harden. Twist it again like that. Dip it in. Wring it in the direction that you're moving, and the wax will seep down. And you do that until the entire piece is covered. And when you're finished, you'll have this. Okay? You saw how easily it was to light it. You can light it easily with a fire steel. Of course, you can light it with a lighter and then stick it into your tinder bundle. See how hard it is to put out? Yeah. Let me show you something. Save those for later when I get some more wax. Okay, let's bring you back to the workbench. Here we have water. Yeah, you can see it, okay. So I'm going to drop my little jute thingy, my bobber, in there. Alright, that is completely and totally and utterly saturated. All I did was twist it in the direction that I've been twisting it. Now this is quite wet. And use the lighter. Don't think I'd be able to start it right now with a ferrocellum rod, but if I let it dry out a little bit, which means drying it with your fingers, and then taking something like this and scraping it, just the end. Okay. Just conditioning my fire steel. Seems to have got some kind of corrosion on it. Anyways. Oh, it was burning. I don't know if you saw that. It went out. That's after being immersed completely underwater.